myself and how the gold is back closer to the US dollar 1750 levels, and this time around it looks like the possibility is quite strong that we might see a breakout on the higher side, and eventually it might try to approach the US dollar 1800 levels. So today's session of Market Movers is dedicated to the technical outlook for gold. Along with that, we will also be considering the equity segment. And as you are fairly aware, we have some sort of correlation there. So we will also be looking at the factors which are likely to drive these both the instruments higher. If we consider the data rockets for the day, the uneven economic improvement across the world is also now being reflected in the numbers. And if we consider the US trade deficit, which has hit the record high for last month, I think one of the factors is this that the US economy is growing a lot faster, and as a result of that, it has to improve import a lot of goods and services, whereas there is not much of a demand in the other parts of the world, and as a result of that, the exports are not really growing that fast, and it is resulting in this record high trade deficit of more than US dollar 71 billions. On the other data release, we had this WTI crude oil inventory data, and here the inventories are down by 3.5 million barrels, but we are not really seeing much of an uptick in the light crude oil prices, and the major factor behind that has been the recent outlook, which has changed because of the possibility of the increase in production from the OPEC countries, OPEC and non-OPEC countries included, and that has resulted in light crude oil prices trading on the softer side for last couple of sessions. The story is not really different in today's session, also where the light crude oil as of now is trading while barely holding about the US dollar 58 per barrel mark. Later in the day, we are also scheduled to get the FOMC's monetary policy meetings minutes, and these are the minutes of the meeting held in March, where we had the revised economic projections, which showed that the economy is likely to expand much faster compared to the prior anticipation, and even in light of this development, the Fed stands committed to stick to its earlier stance of keeping the interest rates unchanged at least until 2023. So we will be going into the intricacies of each member's view on this front, and if we have to get the deep insight in what goes on and how these projections were revised, and what were the independent views of all these individuals involved. We will have to wait for these meeting minutes, and we can expect some sort of moves after the release in the equity indices along with the financial derivative products and currencies included. Now moving on to the technical outlook. Here we will consider the gold first, and then we will also consider the equity index for the Germany, which is DAX. Let's start with the gold. This is the daily time frame chart on which you can see that double bottom kind of formation is there on the lower side, closer to the US dollar 1680 per ounce mark. And if we see this reversal, which has been fairly swift, I think looking at this price formation, we can expect the breakout on the higher side. In today's session, though we are not really seeing much of an uptick, I think it has been more of sideways. But for next couple of sessions, the underlying momentum I'm expecting is likely to remain on the bullish side. So it is a matter of time before we see the gold prices moving higher towards this immediate hurdle closer to the US dollar 1780 mark. And I am expecting in due course of time the gold to again get closer to the US dollar 1800 levels. So if we have to take into consideration the lower time frame charting to optimize our exit, we will have to keep an eye on this 4 hourly chart where we have these price action taking place in this bullish band caught in between the central pivot point on the lower side and first resistance of this month's pivot point series on the higher side. And as is the standard reading of the pivot point series, as long as the price action is happening above the central pivot point, it is considered that underlying momentum from medium to longer term perspective is bullish, given the fact that this pivot point series is being drawn on the monthly time frame. So we are looking at from the longer time horizon as well. And along with that, the regression curve is also now shaping up on the upside. It has flattened, and now as the price action has shifted in the upper band of the regression curve, we are likely to see the continuation of this steepening of the regression curve. So both these technical factors are conducive for the continuation of the bullish momentum in the gold. So all now we need is to look for the optimum entry points where the stop loss will be fairly sharp and the target price wide enough to cover those losses many times over, as we look for at least the risk reward ratio of 1 is to 2 or better than that. So looking at our requirements, in near term we will have to use these immediate swing low consolidation lows closer to the US dollar 1720 as our decisive marker. So as long as the price action is happening above it, I think we have reasons to be fairly bullish in the gold. And on the lower side, we do have the support of these 200 SMA, and not to forget these two other SMAs of 50 and 100. For today's session, we are seeing that the gold is holding well above this 50 SMA, and I think we can adapt a strategy of trading in the gold where we can look for the buy trade only on the breakout, not on the dip. So if that we adapt that buy on breakouts strategy, I think we will have to wait for a fresh move on the higher side above these immediate swing highs. So any move beyond the US dollar 1745 is going to cement our confidence, is going to cement our understanding of the bullish nature of the gold, and we will be having the higher probability of being right. And as I said, the target can be kept closer to the next level, next hurdle, which is there closer to the US dollar 1770 per ounce level. So we do have the upside room of more than 25 USD per ounce. And on the lower side, the risk is not going to be that high. I think going with a stop loss of around 10 USD per ounce should be good enough, and that is going to get us the risk reward ratio of even better than 1 is to 2. Now, moving on to the equity side, we will consider the DAX technical outlook. And DAX is more for tomorrow and less for today, as by the time this video gets uploaded, we will be out of the action for the European session. So I'm talking about the DAX trading outlook from tomorrow's perspective, as I see that it is trading on important levels, and using these levels, we can look for some trades in the DAX from scalping perspective. Here, this is the daily time frame chart, and it has been all one-way rally. And even after this shallow correction, after getting closer to the 14,000 level, we have the DAX picking up pace and continuing to move higher. Now it is trading on the all-time high levels of above the 15,000 mark, and even after climbing this high, I think the momentum is still bullish, so it will be better for us to continue to look for buy trades. But of course, there are some key levels which we need to keep in mind. If we consider the lower time frame chart of 4 hourly, we are seeing that the upside momentum has stalled closer to this first resistance of this month's pivot point series, and from there on, it has gone slightly sideways with bearish momentum. Not much bearish, it is essentially in correction mode, you can say, after this impressive rally starting closer to the 14,500 mark and going all the way closer to the 15,400. So this correction of say 200 points is not something to worry about, but still in near term, its gains are likely to be kept closer to this first resistance of this month's pivot point series. But still, even if we have not much room on the upside, even then, I think if we are going to go for the scalping trade, it will be better for us to continue to look for the buy trades here, and for that we will have to rely on even lower time frame of 1 hourly, and with these both these technical factors of regression curve as well as pivot point series in being in favor of the buy trade, we can look for some key levels of the lower time frame chart which are going to be decisive in tomorrow's session. So as long as DX is holding well above this 100 SMA, we can have fair amount of confidence in its bullish trajectory. And if you want to trade in the DX, I would suggest that we should look for the buy trade as and when we see a fresh breakout above this immediate swing highs which are there just below these 50 SMA mark. So watch out for the breakout. Any upward momentum, any upward move on the higher side should be a sign that we are seeing bulls coming back into play and pushing the DAX prices higher. So that will be the time to also get into the action and look for the buy trade while keeping the stop loss as the near term swing low. Even this low, if it holds, should be good enough. So by the time we get back to trade for tomorrow's session, we will have fair amount of consolidation. So I think the chart will be much clearer. And then whenever we have the breakout on the higher side, we can look for the buy trade while keeping the immediate swing low as a stop loss, and we can expect a further retest of these highs, the price levels closer to US dollar 15,000. Sorry, the 15,300 or even 15,350 can be expected. So these are the levels which we can profit from, and the risk reward ratio is also going to be favorable enough. We will have the room on the upside of around 100 points where the stop loss is going to be anywhere closer to the 50 points. So we will have the risk reward ratio of 1 is to 2, and that should be good enough for the scalping opportunities. So this is all from my side. If you have any query or any idea to share, you can write to me in the feedback section, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you next time. Till then, goodbye.